What's wonderful about Into the Woods is that it's a highly complex, emotional musical, and yes, you have all of the most famous fairy stories involved in this one story, but yet it doesn't end happily ever after. You know, there's complexity to it, and there's these rather potent undercurrents to it, and so I think it's exciting that it's going to be seen by a wider audience. Because there's something that challenges you about Stephen Sondheim's musicals, and this one certainly has that. It's got a kind of darker undercurrent. It's exciting that more people are going to see it. You know, music is a massive part of any musical, but the exciting part was recording it. And Stephen Sondheim came over and recorded it with us in these London studios, and he has very specific notes about how he likes things to be sung. And one of his main notes, which is certainly great for me as someone who I don't consider myself a singer, you know, I think I'm someone who can kind of sing. And that was very reassuring to have Stephen come in and say, you stop singing it, stop making it sound too pretty. I don't want it to sound perfect, I want it to sound real. This is a conversation, this is a monologue. And so I think he really likes having actors who can kind of sing rather than singers who can kind of act, you know. And so I think that's very reassuring for all of us, because I don't know if any of the cast members truly considered themselves singers, you know. And he would come in and he has very specific notes on timing and the way you're delivering a line, and he doesn't want anything to be too melodramatic, too pointed, and too over the top. I think he likes to have his songs open for interpretation. So it was just exciting having him come in and surreal, you know, because he's such a hero for all of us. And we're recording with this 60-piece orchestra, and Stephen Sondheim's in the next room. I mean, it was just bizarre, bizarrely wonderful. Into the Woods is an amalgamation of all the fairy tales, all the most famous ones. But our story does not end happily ever after. And all of the characters go into the woods in order to get what they want, what their wish is. Each of them has a separate wish, separate mission. And at the center of it is the baker and the baker's wife. And their house has a curse on it that the witch has placed on, and that their family tree will always be a barren one. And they're desperate for a baby. And the witch says, in order to reverse the curse, you must go into the woods and get a cow as white as milk, a slipper as pure as gold, hair as yellow as corn, and a cape as red as blood. And so I'm sure you can understand that all of these come from most of the most famous fairy tales. So this is their mission. They have to go into the woods and bring back all of these items in order for the curse to be reversed. And that's when all the trouble starts. I played the baker's wife, and she's somebody, when you meet her at the beginning of the film, who has a desperate yearning for a child, and they've tried for years, and she seems to be incapable of having a baby, and all she wants in the world is a baby. And then when she discovers that the curse can be reversed, and in order to have a baby, she needs to go into the woods and get these items, she becomes this sort of tenacious, determined character with such perseverance and willing to go to any length in order to get what she wants. And so you see this unraveling of this character who innately is a good person, but gets swept up by the woods and what the woods offer and what the potential of the woods are. And so it's really fun to see that character slowly unravel throughout the course of the musical. Rob Marshall is the director of this film, who is just the most talented man and the most wonderful man and generous-hearted and loves actors and loves seeing what you can bring to the role and certainly doesn't straitjacket you in any way. I think he's a very specific director as well. He knows exactly what he wants, which is so reassuring because particularly with a musical, you want someone who's going to tell you when it's too much or it's too little, or you don't want to seem like you're, you know, making faces and being too big and or too bold with a choice. And he just has a really delicate hand, and he very much wanted this to not seem like a kind of here's a song, show tune kind of musical. He wanted it to seem like a film, and for the transition for the songs to be very seamless, and so the audience wasn't kind of jarred by a song suddenly coming up. And he just has such a delicate touch, and it was wonderful working with him every day. He's just the most positive, happy person, and all you want as an actor is somebody who has a spirited opinion and somebody who's not going to straitjacket you. And he does both of those things in spades with a huge smile on his face.